Have you ever started a plein air painting and just didn't get enough time to finish it? Well, today I'm going to share with you a case that happened to me where I didn't get to finish my plein air painting outdoors, and I'm going to bring it into the studio and I'm going to share with you my techniques to keep it fresh and loose. So let's get to it. All right, so let's start with the beginning of the plein air painting. I found this really cool old country grocery store off North Landing Road, just on the edge of Pungo. And over here, you can see my setup for my plein air. I used the Day Tripper by Joshua Bean. Fantastic setup. And I've got a rig to have my iPhone record. So I don't know the original name of the country store. I think it was like North Landing Country Store or Country Market. It later became Suey's, and then later on became Hog Heaven, both of which served delicious barbecue sandwiches from what I've learned online. There's some things that I would like to add to this. One of the things that looks like there were some gas pumps there, and there is the sign that I will be adding in later in the studio. So yeah, this was a fun outdoor painting session. The sun moved fast. It's cold winter day in February, so I didn't have a lot of light left or a lot of time. But as you can see, the building is quite charming. All right, let's go ahead and get ready to start painting. So I'll start off with the basic outline of the architecture for this building. And as I did this, a gentleman came up, asked about what I was painting, then told me a little bit more history about this country store, and found out it was called Hog Heaven in Suey's. Once I've gotten the basic outline of the architecture, I start knocking in the sky. And I take a little bit of liberties, and I put snow on the road here. When I first was driving out, there was still snow on the streets, but due to the rising temperatures, the snow quickly melted. And here I'm going to start working on the deck, just trying to flesh out simple shapes. This is one of those things where I really like to just keep it simple and not get caught into details right off the bat. It's only once I've gotten the major shapes then I can then start knocking at windows, doors. And there's my secret weapon, the brayer. I like this because it helps keep my painting loose, helps spread some of the colors across the canvas, and helps with harmonize. And I also use, if you saw real quick, I use the brayer to kind of knock in some trees, and then I go back with a brush and then just clean it up a little bit. There's some use of my palette knife, adding some edges to the windows. So I try not to get too much in the details, and when painting plein air, I try to float around the painting, because that way I don't get obsessed with one particular area of the painting. I found this is useful as I've gone through painting over the years, that if I float around a little bit here and there, I keep a fresh mind and fresh eyes, and I don't tend to hyper focus on an area, which can be, how would you say, kind of a time killer. So I'm knocking in parts of the porch and filling out some of the trees. The sun is fading really fast, as you can look at the time lapse on to the left. I don't have much time. I'm knocking in the sign and some of the other areas. And so I'm really kind of racing, because I know that light's going to be disappearing very fast, especially as the sun nears that horizon. That's pretty much letting me know I've only got minutes before it's gone. And once that sun dips below the tree line, the scene is going to change radically. And at that point, it's time to stop. So I'm really just trying to capture, key points and get a sense of space, and really kind of insinuate a story maybe that looked like this country store And try to imagine what it was like, on a winter's day to come in and roll up to this country store and get some groceries, make it feel lived in, a place that was used. And as you can see right there, the sun is just about to go. And so I'm really rushing to get as much of it as I can because it's going to disappear. And from there, I might as well stop unless I just, once the sun's gone, that's it. And there we go. And knowing that the sun is about to disappear, I'm just going to go ahead and call it a wrap and pack up. But before I do so, I'm going to kind of zoom in, show you a little bit of the detail that was done and little close-ups. And from there, I'll probably, like I said, I'm going to go into the studio after this is done and just add some stuff and give this a little bit more character. Definitely put that sign in and just then, see where we go from here. But as you can see, the location I'm at, all I have to do is literally turn my easel around 180 degrees and I've got another scene to capture, which I'll probably come back and paint on another winter's day, maybe another snow day. But for now, one painting at a time. So let me go ahead and pack up and we'll go ahead and then head into the studio. All right, just real quick. If you like my painting, you want to see more, head on over to my website, liquidmethod.com. Check out my new work and prints, as well as you can sign up for my newsletter, which I push out every Friday as of this video recording. Let's get back to the video. All right, so we're in the studio now, and I'm going to be working on the painting. And one of the things that I want to do is I want to fill in this area here. It's a little flat, as you can see. The dimensions really don't translate well. So I want to go ahead and work on this, as well as add some things in here, clean up, add a little bit more detail. And now that I've looked at some of the old photos that I found online, I'm going to add the sign over here, maybe some more riffraff, give the idea that there's a sense of space in which it's lived, it's used, it's functional. Because let's face it, an abandoned grocery store isn't appealing. So we kind of want to give this a feeling of give it a lived-in feel here, a little bit more of human presence or evidence of humans here. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the objectives are to give this a little bit more feel, finish the sign. Pepsi was prevalent back in the day, so I decided to put a vintage Pepsi sign up. It was a gas station. Unfortunately, the gas station pumps were out of view from that angle. But I really enjoyed the sign. I think it really makes this piece. So that was one of the first things I wanted to do. And then, of course, add a red door. The red door was actually there back in the day, which was kind of a nice surprise because one of the doors on the side was red. So, and then that was just a happy accident. Later on, when I found some more old photos and drawings of this place, added the ramp. Used a palette knife to touch up some edges, give some highlights. I put a hand truck in there because that ramp would have been used to deliver the groceries through the front door. Add a little wear in the sideboards of the side of the house. Touch up some details. Put a little bit of more edging. Maybe some areas of where snow may have drifted along the baseboard. And just really try and fill in the area that I mentioned earlier and give it a little bit more dimension. Add some tire tracks, maybe some fresh pressed snow as a truck may have driven through. And added a vintage air pump station. And then add some highlights to the trees, some remnants of fall still there. And then go back and add a little bit more highlights, touch up some of the snow areas, and then sign it. All right, so this is the final painting. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the process and sharing my tips with you. Just to recap, what my tips are for taking plein air paintings and then bringing in to the studio is, if I do have to look at photo reference, I study them, commit them to memory, and then set them aside and then just go to the painting. I think for me, it helps keep my paintings fresh and loose and keep them from overworking them as well. I really enjoy this painting. I know that when I look back at it a few days later, I still had that same feeling of like, yes, this looks good. And I think it's really cool to share with people and share those memories of what Pungo used to look like. And as far as this old North Landing grocery store, it just was a lot of fun. I look forward to going back out to Pungo and to other parts of Virginia Beach and capturing those old places and maybe some new places as well. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Happy painting. And as always, if you like this painting and would like to see more of my paintings, head on over to my website, liquidmethod.com, where you can see original paintings and fine prints. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.